What seems, so you can see at the top the standard form for a circle. So there's the one at the top, x squared plus y squared equals r squared. And what did we talk about if there's no parentheses? What does that mean about the center of the circle? There's zeros. Now one of them might be 0, they might both be 0. But so the very top one that means it's at the origin. And then the one underneath means that the center is at HK with a radius of R. Remember that from last class in the warm-up today? So starting with number 1, we first need to get this into standard form. It needs to look like one of the two at the top. So what do I need to do first to 1a? Yeah, add the x squared over to the left side. So go ahead and add x squared over to the left. So now we have x squared plus y squared equals 36. So the x and the y both need to be on the left side to be in standard form. And now it's in standard form. It's super easy. So for each of these, we're going to find the center and the radius. So what's the center of this circle?
0,
0, 0. And the radius is going to be
6.
6. It's the square root of the number on the right side. Okay? Now b is already in standard form. The x's and the y's are both on the left, the constant's on the right. So what is the center of this circle?
-3, 0.
-3, remember it's the opposite of this number, and this one doesn't have any parentheses, so that's a 0. And the radius is the square root of 20. Now, up until now, we've had prime numbers under a square root. But do you remember what to do when that square root is not a prime number? Yep, dates to prom. Good memory. So do a little factor tree. So what times what is 20? 4 times 5. 2 and 2, right? You keep breaking them apart until you can't go any further, until you get prime numbers. This is good ACT review for juniors and seniors, which is all of you. Some of you seniors are done with it, but sometimes the multiple choice answers are in simplified square root form, so you need to remember how to get there. So 5 does not have a date, so he's going to stay inside the house. And we have one pair of 2s. That means we have 1 2 out front representing the couple that gets to go to prom. So 2 square root 5 would be your final simplified answer. How could you check and see if that's right? Put it into the calculator and convert it to a decimal. So the square root, and this is also helpful on the ACT to be able to convert things to decimals. So the square root of 20 is about 4.47. And then what our simplified answer was 2 square root 5. What should it say? 4.47. So we know we simplified it correctly if you got that same decimal. All right. Example C. What's the center of this circle? -7, 2, with a radius of 7. Easy enough there. I'm going to skip D, and let's go on to example A. 2A. How is 2A different than standard form? That's coefficients. And remember, a coefficient is a number multiplied in front of an x squared or a y squared or an x, some variable. So if there's ever a coefficient, you need to divide it away. So I'm going to go through and divide all 3 terms by the coefficient of 3. So all the 3's cancel, which leaves me with x squared plus y squared equals 25. Now it should be pretty obvious that the x, y are by themselves. What's the center?
0, 0.
And the radius is 5. So we're just practicing and getting it back to standard form and then finding the center of the radius. 2 things are wrong with B. 2B. Or not to B. What's one of the things that we need to fix? Yeah, we can go ahead and divide away the 2's. So each term I'm going to divide away the 2, which leaves me with x plus 7 squared.
We need to get that.
Yeah, and that needs to be, in order to be in standard form, it needs to be a binomial squared. So we need to factor it. They usually factor very easily. So what factors of 9, this is like your warm-up today, add up to -6. -3 twice, right? So I can write that as y minus 3 times itself equals 16. Which gives me a center of and a radius of 4. Okay, I'm going to skip down to 3a. 3a. Now this is exactly like your warm-up. See if you can do it again. Group the x's together, leave a blank. Group the y's together, leave a blank. And I'm going to go ahead and move this 23 to the right side as a positive 23, and then I'm going to put a big blank over there to remind myself that I have to do everything to both sides. So there's my next step. We take b divided by 2 and multiply by itself, and then do that to both sides. So Easton, what factors of 4 add up to 4? 2 and 2, right? So I'll write that as x plus 2 squared. Sammy, what factors of 9 add up to -6? Yeah, now don't forget to put a plus sign in the middle here. So we'll go y minus 3 twice, or squared times itself, equals, Drake, what does the right side come out to when you add all of these together?
I got 36.
Good. Now we're in standard form. The center is -2, 3 with a radius of 6. We good? Alrighty. I'm not going to do all of example B, but this is no different than the ones up above when there's a coefficient in front of x squared and y squared. So what do I need to divide through by?
2.
Everything. Now there's a lot of different terms here, and by term I mean anything separated by a plus or minus sign. So you have to go through and divide every single term by 2, and then you could take it from there. So always get the x squared and the y squared with a coefficient of 1.